Hi and welcome back to Our Lost Estate. We're back here with a September update video. It seems in France that you come to the end of August, 1st of September starts and everyone's like, nope, that's it, holiday's over, back to work. And so it has been for us as well. Well, not so much holidays in August, but definitely a lot of work coming in at the beginning of September. And that's because... Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, we have an announcement.
We have got a PAX.
Yeah, we went and got PAX, or as they say here, Nunu Paxon.
Nunu Paxon, indeed, yes. But I guess the first thing is to explain what exactly is a PAX.
Yeah, it's a civil ceremony in France. It was brought in fact, for so gay couples could have an equivalent of marriage, but a lot of people do it now. It doesn't have an equivalent in England or in the US, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a civil ceremony, but not quite that
it's not
grandiose.
It's not a marriage. It stands for Pacte
Civil de Solidarité.
And it is basically a legal agreement between you that you're to be recognised as a couple legally and admin-wise as well, so for tax purposes, etc.
And for ownership of places like Our Lost Estate.
So, and we were told by the notaire, we've had the same notaire since we
bought the place back in 2021.
She said you really need to do a PAX because you're not married. So we've been kind of edging towards it, but the paperwork involved is immense.
It always seemed a challenge in France with the paperwork, and this one we had to have things like our birth certificates, a copy within the last 3 months and translated into French.
And by a certified translator, you can't just do it yourself.
Yeah, so it's quite a challenge to get everything lined up within a certain time frame to get it all good.
So we got on that finally for various reasons back in the summer, early summer. Went down with it all beginning of September, was it? Or end of August.
End of August,
yeah.
I think, beginning of September.
Went down to the notaires, gave her all the documents, they checked it all through. They said, oh yeah, that'd be lovely. And it has to be done within 3 months of you getting your birth certificate. Nothing like a deadline. And so she said, oh, yeah, so the end of September, gave us a date. We're like, oh, okay, yes, that'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. We got that date, didn't we? And then we're just walking back and messaged some of our friends saying, oh, yes, we've just got the date for it.
Yeah, and we thought we'd have raise a glass and celebrate, etc. And they said, oh, come and have champagne. And what are you doing to celebrate?
Absolutely, yes. We were just going to have a couple of glasses of champagne to celebrate on the day, just to sort of celebrate us.
Because it's not a wedding, but it is quite significant. Anyway, so we, as a result, decided we would have a celebration here at Our Lost Estate.
Absolutely.
Which was lovely. I'm really glad we did. It was a lovely evening.
It made it a very special day, definitely, which was great. And yeah, very glad that we were convinced to do something on it. It was very much worthwhile and a lot of fun. But yeah, we wanted to have it here at Our Lost Estate. And we were thinking, Claire's idea of perfect would have been a long row of tables down the patio, all dressed in white with fairy lights over the top, just dreamy.
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of flowers, linen tablecloths, really beautiful. So
really beautiful.
Fingers crossed for the end of September that the weather held.
Well, that's always the worry, is that it's reliant on the weather. So we had to also be prepared for it potentially to be inside as well.
Yeah, plan B.
Yeah, plan B, very much. And it's so we were looking and thinking out of who we would invite, of our French family, as we call them, all our friends that we've made here since moving here. And obviously potentially having to be inside, numbers were a bit limited.
Very limited. I mean, it's a big room, but it's still, you can't get 40 people in here, not unless they're standing very close together.
But whichever area it was going to be in, it meant there was quite a lot of work for us to do.
So whatever area we were getting paxed in, whatever area we were celebrating in, it meant there was a lot of jobs that had to be done either out on the patio or in here.
Because we were going to want lots of photos and they were going to want to be absolutely beautiful. Inside jobs, there's the biggest part was the wall just behind us, which now is looking lovely and white.
Oh, it is.
But at the beginning of September, wasn't.
No, it was grey plasterboard, as you can see, and Martin decided that he would, for the first time, try his hand at...
Never done plastering before.
Never done the plastering before.
Never done plastering, but yeah, I gave it a go. And so there we have it. The wall, as you'll see, is now done. I've put on a couple of coats of paint. So there was an undercoat, a primer coat for the plasterboard to seal it, and then just a standard white satin paint over the top. For my first go, I'm pretty pleased. And outside, the jobs didn't stop either. I've been working very hard clearing the patio from all the stuff that's built up over the summer while we've been gardening. And Claire's been busy, I believe.
Yeah, been busy planting out our seedlings and nurturing our flowers, mirabilis, for example, and echinacea. Lots of roses, and trying to combat the brambles that have just gone nuts this year with all the rain. Making sure this is swooshed ready for the packs. I've put in a couple of posts behind us as well, so that we can string lights from them across the patio back and forth, making sure the table's secure. And you might recognise this bit of furniture. It appeared at the end of our guest room update video, where we asked for comments of what we should do with this unit. And a couple of you came up with the idea of using it as a bar. And we thought that was a brilliant idea. And indeed we could change it to be an outdoor bar, because this window just here is our kitchen. Of course, it's not just the jobs preparing for packs. The other jobs that we have from a day-to-day basis don't stop either. They keep growing, keep coming. The garden keeps growing. We've got things like prepping ready for winter, so the chimney needed to be swept. And there was all the fun and games with our heat pump that we've had over the year. Oh, the heat pump.
That started back in
April.
April, was it?
It went bang.
Yeah, thanks to a slug.
Yeah, kamikaze slug.
A kamikaze slug suicided itself by climbing inside the outdoor unit to protect itself from all the rain that we were having, and decided to go to sleep on the high voltage electric board in the outdoor unit. Thankfully now we're all nice and warm, that's up and running again, so yeah. That was fantastic. But as I say, these jobs don't stop. And the other thing, of course, that we did in September, which we'd planned a little bit before that, was we went on holiday for a week just before our packs.
We'd seen that Cirque du Soleil were touring and that they were performing in Bordeaux, and we do love Cirque du Soleil. So we booked tickets for that and then built the holiday around it. So we went to Arcachon the week before, and it was beautiful, really, really sunny.
26 degrees, feet in the sand on the beach, eating ice cream. It was beautiful.
It was dreamy. And we took a little boat trip out.
Yeah, the Ile d'Oiseau and the oyster beds there. That's where some of the best, freshest oysters are in France, especially at this time of year.
So we had to indulge. It was perfect. I loved it.
Absolutely.
visited Cap Ferret and the most massive dune is it in Europe or in the world?
I think it's the tallest dune in Europe, certainly not the world, but tallest dune in Europe, which is the Dune du Pilat, which is over near Bordeaux in France. It's just
near Arcachon.
Yeah, very much just down the coast from Arcachon. Beautiful area. We thoroughly enjoyed that part of it.
And it's interesting about the fires, wasn't it?
Yeah, all the fires in that area in 2022, there were a lot of wildfires over near Bordeaux and Arcachon and the area, and the dune particularly was affected by it. And we noticed it in a lack of birds there. I mean, there were some, but a lot less than we're used to.
A lot less than here. And basically they were saying, a lot of the mammals and birds could move during the fires, but the insects got obliterated and it's taken them a while to get back.
Yeah, but they seem to be recovering very well, and it's all beautiful. If anyone ever wants to go to a beautiful beach area with some lovely countryside, bits of history.
So pretty, the way they've developed the town, they've built it in segments, and wild, some of the houses, so pretty. They've got, each area is named after spring, summer, winter. And they've got a theme running through them, and it's a really pretty place.
It's a beautiful area. We can highly recommend going to, definitely. And after a few days there, we then the weather started to turn, and we shifted into Bordeaux,
which was great. And we were over by Cité du Vin, so of course we had to visit that.
Yeah, Cité du Vin, I can highly recommend. It's kind of an interactive museum to wine. They cover not just the Bordeaux area, but actually worldwide wines, and you learn about how wine is made, where it comes from, the grape varieties. I'd never realised that there was actually only really one grape variety that makes all the wines, most of the wines in the world. Anyway, it's just little subtle differences between it.
And really interesting, one of the things, the fungus that wiped out the vines in Europe a couple of hundred years ago, and they had to be grafted then onto American vines. The only country that seemed to escape that was Greece, and their vines were incredible because they're grown in volcanic rock.
Yeah, their roots go about 10 metres down into the ground.
Weave them. They're so ancient, centuries old, and they weave them like baskets. It was fascinating.
Yeah, they loop them round and round and round. So the grapes grew inside this basket and protected it from all the
I'd never seen that before.
Sunshine. No, we'll have to go to Greece at some point, I think, to see that ourselves.
And then, of course, because we'd done that, we also wanted to do some wine tasting ourselves, so we went over for a lovely trip out to Saint-Emilion, which is a beautiful medieval village where the wine is actually made. Learnt the history there, had a day looking around. Yeah,
Saint-Emilion was fantastic. This, I think, was it an 11th century church they've got carved out of the rock there. And it was really just a really beautiful little town.
Went down into the caves where they mature the wine and protect it from invaders.
There was the old escape caves when the Brits actually owned that part of France. They dug all these tunnels out. I think it was Eleanor of Aquitaine, wasn't it? And Richard the Lionheart.
It was her herself, but that period.
No. And yes, they talked about how actually the British had started the French winemaking industry,
which I doubt anybody really wants to claim.
Indeed, but that's quite entertaining. And then went on to one of the chateaux where we tasted 4 different ages of their Saint-Emilion, which was really nice and really educational.
Yeah, really interesting as well, seeing how they were made and some of the equipment they had there, dating back 100 years. Interesting. And then, of course, we had to buy a couple of bottles to bring back for our packs, which was lovely.
We did. It was delicious, very much. Another really interesting few days over in Bordeaux.
Yeah,
I think
it really was.
We kind of only scratched the surface, it felt like, to Bordeaux, so we'll have to go back again. But
particularly like the halles. I love a French halle.
The Halle de Bacalan that we went to, where they've got all the food stalls, loads of food stalls around the halle, and then if you go as a group, you can each go off, get your own what you're wanting, and then sit together somewhere, each having something different. And then they've got kind of these communal areas that you take all the plates back to and so on
great.
afterwards.
Really good. We like
really,
that.
Really enjoyed the house. It was a good buzzy atmosphere
I like
there.
Bordeaux. It was good to explore different little bits of it, because like every city, you know, there's happening areas and there's the not so happening areas.
It's very much a working city, it felt like, wasn't it? So, but yeah, one to go back to again for sure.
And then we came back, we had 2 days, not even that, day and a half to prep up. Everybody here, a French family, was running around prepping food and sorting everything out for us. So we came back after a nice relaxing break and just swooshed it. Well, I say just swooshed it. There was quite a lot of furniture to move.
We the day before I did all the lifting about of furniture, making sure we'd got enough tables. We borrowed one table from one of our lovely friends, and one of the big linen sheets, we needed an extra one, so we'd borrowed that as well.
Tablecloth, not the sheets.
Tablecloth, yeah, absolutely.
But we had to make a call on the weather, because obviously we had plan A, patio, all swooshed and romantic underneath the fairy lights on the French patio in the sun, only it wasn't that sunny.
It wasn't sunny, so no, the rain kept coming, or even on the day until mid-afternoon. So the day before we'd kind of realised that, so it's mostly set up inside. But yeah, then there was final preparations, make sure we'd got everything that we needed. A little trip down to the local resourcery, picking up a couple of extra little bits, a couple of cheese platters, so that we had enough for round the tables.
It was good. And then mid-morning, went down to see our lovely notaire. She was very glamorous, and it was very relaxing and very good fun, actually. Having the little ceremony, I suppose ceremony, it was literally kind of, she read us what we could expect from being paxed and what we needed to be aware of, including inheritance.
Yeah, just detailing what it means to be paxed, really, and that, yes, that means it's more legally binding the fact that our lost estate and anything we're buying is shared.
Yeah.
But actually, we don't need both of us to agree if we ever decide to separate. It's one of Claire can still just run off down to the notaire, say, "No, I've had enough with Martin," and tell the notaire, and I get informed.
Unlikely.
Unlikely, I think. Yeah.
We will get married at some point, but not
I've got to propose first.
This is true. This is true. So.
But yeah.
There's all of that, and
then we signed on the electronic pad. It wasn't a dotted line; it was actually all electronic on there.
Very modern.
Yeah.
And giggled our way through it all.
Yeah, we'd had a couple of our friends there with us, which made it great fun, actually.
She was lovely. She said as the notaire as we were leaving, you know, it's raining. It's supposed to be lucky if it rains on the day that you get attached.
Indeed, and she said very British, wasn't it, as well, which was hilarious. So no, it was very, very worthwhile. And then we went to one of the local cafes, and we'd organised a brunch there for us and a few of our very close friends here, which really made it special, didn't it?
And they were lovely. They were so lovely. We had a beautiful, beautiful meal. Went on some hours. Came back here and finished swooshing, got dressed. Yeah,
we had a couple of hours really relaxed, actually, so that we could finish. I hung the lights, we swooshed the tables and got everything set up. A couple of our friends came over slightly early to help with that, which was really appreciated. And then, come the evening, the sun came out, which was great, allowed us to get some lovely photos.
B was all in his ribbons, because he loves a party. Loves a party.
And people then started arriving, including a friend for B.
Yeah, including a friend for B. And we had a really, really, really lovely evening. I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, I'm very glad they convinced us to celebrate it properly. It all looked so swooshed. And it really made all the work worthwhile, because it looked beautiful.
It was such a lovely time. So that's our September, and it's been amazing. I can't remember a month like it, really.
Really busy, lots of change, lots of little bits finished off, and it was a very special month, I think. Very enjoyable, very memorable.
So one of the things that happened for PAX was that Martin bought a wine fridge. It's the first purchase. Dun, dun, dun.
For the new kitchen.
And spoiler alert, started work on the guest loo, which is like
the Paris loo.
We call it the Paris loo. So we'll be filming that over the next few
Absolutely,
months.
more on that to come for sure.
And we've been working on the garden. So next up will be a garden catch-up.
Yeah, plenty more to be happening over the winter months. So thank you very much for joining us.
Been lovely again, and look forward to talking to you next time.